Hey guys, Crypto Dad here again. Thanks for joining me on the Saturday night live stream, live from Michigan, where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. We'll talk about Bitcoin, we'll talk about the news. We're going to have a special guest here tonight, the crypto tax girl, Laura. So we'll be looking forward to that. And I'm going to do my best to get to your questions and help troubleshoot your problems right here live. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, welcome everybody. I'm here again, whoa, with the rig, and been having a heck of a time out of my comfort zone this week, trying to do an interview. I think the last time I tried to do an interview on the live stream, it was an epic fail. There was some feedback, couldn't get the participants' video to work, something weird, and then the power went out in my apartment complex. There was like a something, lightning struck one of the transformers. Something weird happened. So I continued that live stream back on my phone. That was way back in 2018. So anyway, I've tried several times to get the interview format down. I guess I'm just too old for this stuff. Anyway, thank you for being here tonight. I know a couple of people were here with questions. I hope I've got the mic working okay. I have some headphones so that there won't be feedback echo when she speaks and I speak, whatever. We'll try to avoid any technical difficulties. I sent her a link to the chat, so I told her 6:15. We'll check in with her around that time. I didn't get a whole lot of time to get the news lined up, but the big stories are Silvergate Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, and now Circle. So things are flying at us fast and furious. So why don't I jump in on that before we get too much further? I just want to thank everyone that's here tonight. FOMO Spain, Mr. Miski, Kenneth Wiedner, Mustafa Lamb, always happy to have you guys here. Going to watch my stream first. Okay, that's good. We'll talk a little bit about your issues. Emmanuel, Max Schlossberg, good to have you. Haven't seen you in a bit. Dave Flowers is here tonight. Hans Hannah 350. That's great. Kojo is here. Paul Wiener is here. 2WYCE is here. Oh, a couple of people. JDO is here. Good to have you, JDO. Thanks for Jay Perrin from Illinois in my neighborhood. It was weird. We got a snowstorm. We had about 6 inches of snow Thursday night, early Friday, and we woke up to like 6 inches of snow on Friday. The school called a snow day, and then it melted off by like 3 o'clock. It was like, well, it was still on the ground, but all the streets were clear. It just melted off. We didn't even need snow plows. It was crazy for March. Yeah, I got some pictures of it. But anyway, yeah, I could probably get into those pictures in a bit, maybe. But we got a lot of stuff to do. Let's, before I get in, we have a little agenda. If you've never been here before, we're going to try to go through some of this stuff. I'm going to talk with Laura about 6:15. Till about 7. So we don't know what's going to happen tonight, right? I'm going to ask her some questions. You guys can throw out some questions. She's crypto tax girl. I'm going to put her links in the description after the live stream is over for her Twitter. And I think she does do tax services. So if you're in need of that, you could contact her. But I want to just get to know her and ask her some questions and have her talk to you guys about crypto taxes, because tax season is upon us. And then I think I've got 2 of the stories linked down here below that we'll talk about. So why don't we jump into the news real quick? Well, let's try to get through that really quick. This was the big story. Silvergate Capital Corporation will voluntarily liquidate Silvergate Bank. Silvergate Bank was a crypto-friendly bank that lent money to a lot of crypto firms. and they had kind of they were affected by the FTX collapse, and they had a bit of a bank run, so to speak, and a liquidity problem, a confidence problem, and so they shut down. And that would have been the big story if Silicon Valley Bank, their parent venture capital firm, a big venture capital firm, when it got into trouble as well. And then it was yesterday that Silicon Valley Bank failed. We had a bank failure yesterday in the U.S. Crazy, right? The FDIC stepped in, but it made it painfully clear to those of us who may not be aware, FDIC insured funds only cover you to, I think it's 100 grand, maybe 250 grand. That's not very much when if you've got like $10 million in a bank and the bank fails, the FDIC only covers you for whatever their amount is. It's nothing near 10 million per depositor. So a lot of this might ripple into other firms. And as it happens, supposedly it rippled into Circle, the company that owns US Dollar Coin. Yesterday afternoon, the equity market close, US Dollar Coin issuer Circle revealed that 3.3 billion of its 40 billion reserves were tied up in now failed Silicon Valley Bank. Specifically, on March 9, Circle initiated a wire transfer to remove its funds from SVB as the FDIC-insured bank was about to shut operations. However, 2 days later, on March 11, Circle confirmed that the wire transfers were not wholly processed, with 3.3 billion of US dollar coin reserves still with SVB. Now, the US dollar coin reserves are the amount of money that they set aside or they're supposedly holding when they issue new US dollar coin. So US dollar coin is a fiat-backed stablecoin, right? That doesn't mean that it's going to collapse necessarily, right? Because even banks don't have all of the cash that they lend out or issue, so to speak, right? US banks are only required to have like 10% of their deposits in reserve. So it's not that out of the question. That US dollar coin is simply going to fail because they've lost a little bit of their reserves, right? But it does shake confidence, right? And apparently they dropped their peg momentarily, and that was the big news today. They went down, or yesterday, today, they went down to 87 cents instead of being worth $1. That's a US dollar coin stable coin. So this is a big deal for the crypto market. But just before the live stream, I found this story that says US dollar coin slowly repegs on unconfirmed reports of SVB resolution. Ugh. According to insiders, 50% of uninsured deposits will be paid out by next week. Well, okay. So 3.3 billion and they're going to get 1.5 billion back. So they're going to have to look in their couch cushions for the other billion to back their reserves, their stablecoin. But they should be okay, right? What's a billion here, a billion there? Yeah. So I'm going to pop out chat real quick. This is going to be an interesting night, don't you think? I'm going to pop out chat and put it over on the side so that I can see what you guys are asking while I'm talking to Laura. Let me see. I got this. Okay, I am still here. Don't look at my chat. That's gonna she'll be able to see me. Okay, she got the link. Okay, that's good. Okay, so someone's asking me about their ledger and email, and it may be the same gentleman that's in the live stream. So we'll see. Yeah. Okay, so CoinEx looks good on my end. Is money in E-Trade and M1 Finance sweep and savings account more secure than money with Wells Fargo? What do you guys think of Chat Farm? Let me check. There was in this, actually, it was a zero hedge story about the, I'm going to have to, it's probably been pushed down quite a bit. This one. Yeah, this is about the SVB collapse, and they have a list of companies here that are invested or have money on deposit at SVB Bank, right? Silicon Valley Bank. And so there is US dollar coin as the top one, crypto stablecoin run by Circle. Roku has 26% of its cash, 487 million with Silicon Valley Bank. BlockFi has 227 million in unprotected funds. Roblox, the famous gaming platform, 5% of its 3 billion in cash, held at SVB. DNA, Ginkgo Bioworks, Rocket Lab USA, Lending Club, Payoneer, and then a lot of biotech companies, pharmaceutical companies have money on deposit at SVB that is in limbo, right? We don't know exactly if they're going to be able to make good on any of it through bankruptcy proceedings, right? I think generally what happens is, the first thing they'll do is try to make a deal with what they can afford to give you. And then when the company declares bankruptcy and goes into receivership, they'll sell the assets and then try to pay back the people that had their money on deposit, I think, something like that. I don't know. But a bank, that's weird. That's a lot worse than, say, just like a sandwich company or whatever that goes under, right? This is a bank going under. And a lot of people, like a sandwich company, it's like they either do business or they don't, right? And then they've got employees that are affected. But a bank, when a bank goes under, all that money that was in their deposit kind of evaporates, right? The FDIC only covers, let's see, I think they mentioned that in here, how much the FDIC covers. I'm not going to be able to find it. Okay. Got all kinds of stuff going on. Yeah. With my mom and dad. It was FDIC. I don't see it, but I read it earlier that, here it is, 250,000. Huh. So only 255,000. $250,000. So suppose you have $1 million at this bank and it goes under, you're only insured for $250,000. That's not good, right? Okay, so I'm going to gear up and talk to Laura tonight, the crypto tax girl. Let me see if I can find her on Twitter, because I know that she has a Twitter presence. Let's see, crypto tax girl. There she is. All right, there's her Twitter page. I'm going to copy a link to that into the chat here. Paste. Yeah, I was like, I think in one of these stories, they oh, by the way, thank you, Asil, One Jaw Dis, for that $5 tip. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well tonight. Let's go over to the chat here, and I know, ignore my horrendous background. This is what she's going to see. I've got another one for me, right? When I'm talking to her, we'll have, whoops. Yeah, we'll have that. Oh my gosh. Okay. So yeah, let's try this. And, when she joins, if she joins, then, we will, I'll put her full screen, and then, we can talk to her and ask her some questions. I'll have her introduce herself. There she is. Okay. Oh, let's put this on. Can you hear me okay?
Hello, I can hear you.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. I'm wondering if they can hear you. That's a good question. Huh. I didn't think
Did you want me
about
to
that.
keep the YouTube thing open or close
Yeah.
it? And
Why don't you do that? And yeah, why don't you do that? And yeah, why don't we do that? And you can listen to me from YouTube. If you can hear on my channel that I'm doing the live stream, that should work out better.
Okay, I can see it on here, but it's just a little delayed.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Here we go. We'll get through it. Let's see. I'm going to put you full screen there. And actually, why don't I put you on... Oh, okay. Come on, Rex, you can do this. I can do this. Okay. Come on, Rex. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to take you off full screen. I knew this was going to be...
Okay, I cannot hear you on this, and the YouTube's delayed. So I'm just going to listen to you here, I think, and then turn off the YouTube. Sorry to everyone.
It's okay. I'll figure it out. Ugh, come on, please, God.
I think I can see him, but I can't hear him. And I think he can see and hear me, but I guess we'll see. Thanks everyone for your patience.
Wow. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, that's wonderful. All right, so I'm going to switch my speakers back to my speakers.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. All right, now let's see if the viewers at home can see it. We can see and hear both. That's good news for Dan. Okay. Is there an echo? Because if there is, I'll mute my mic while she's talking. Let's do it that way. Oh, okay. I think we're in business.
Perfect. Okay, good. Thanks, guys.
I almost gave up. You were fine. I was almost ready to give up. So thank you for coming, Laura. I really appreciate it. I know both of us are family types, got kids and all. And
Yes.
I know we're both busy, and I'm really glad that you took the time to join me on my live stream.
Yeah, thanks. I'm excited to be here. Yeah, I have 2 little boys. I was just feeding one really fast before I ran down for here. So I missed the first 15 minutes, but
oh, that's fine.
I'm excited to be on now and see what everyone is wondering when it comes to crypto taxes.
Yeah. So why don't you fill us in a little bit on your background and just tell us how you got into crypto and whether you are into taxes first or crypto first and taxes second. How'd that all work out for you?
Yeah, so I was working at EY. I'm a CPA, and so Ernst & Young, it's also known as. I was working there doing taxes for a few years, and then during the 2017 bull run, my husband and I were both interested in crypto, invested in crypto at that time, and I mean, I started like knowing about crypto, I guess, back in like college. Like I think in like 2013, I wrote a paper about like what I thought about Bitcoin. I should go and find that and see what it says. But I've like always been interested in crypto, but I like didn't have money in college. So I wish I would have bought Bitcoin back then. Then I would be super rich. But when we got married, we like had bought just a little bit, like, you know, messing around with it, seeing how it works. And then in the 2017 bull run, when everything was going up, we were watching it really closely and we're like, wow, this is so exciting. You know, we sold a little bit. And then so 2018 came and we were doing our own taxes. And, you know, my husband's like, oh, you're a CPA, you do taxes. Like, what do we do about this crypto stuff? And I was like, actually, I don't really know. Like, I haven't seen anyone, you know, sell crypto until now. And so then I was reading through all the regulation, which was so limited. Like the only thing we had then in 2017 was the info from 2014 from the IRS, which was like pretty outdated, and it didn't really cover a lot of what was happening in crypto. Like at that time, like, we had Forex, airdrops, ICOs, there's lots of different exchanges, people are transferring between wallets a lot, and, there's mining, and it had like very, addressed mining a little bit, addressed some of the other things just a little bit, but there just wasn't a lot of guidance. And so even me being a CPA, it took me a while to do my own, personal taxes. And so I was like, okay, if I had to like sort through all of this like tax regulation and read all these laws and figure out how to do it and, go through the software, that there wasn't very many crypto tax softwares out there at the time either. APIs were all, not super, they're kind of clunky, not working really well. And so I was like, if this took me a while to figure out, I can't imagine that like the average Joe is going to be able to figure this out easily. And so I created a course teaching people how to calculate their crypto taxes, and it really, it blew up really fast. And I started a Twitter where I was tweeting, crypto tax tips, and just a lot of people in 2017 had gone from like, not making a ton of money to all of a sudden like being millionaires. Like maybe they were normally making $40,000-$50,000 and all of a sudden they had like $1 million, and they were just like, this is my first time I've come into like big money. I don't know what to do about this. I need to get my taxes figured out. And so the timing just worked out. I started my crypto tax firm, started helping people calculate their own crypto taxes, because people would take the course and say, okay, this is great. Like I understand how this is taxed, but I don't want to be the one to do it. Like I want you to do it. I have a job. And so, or like, this is boring. And so I, calculated it for them, did their tax return. I'm a CPA, so I can file it. And then, every year I'm like, oh, I guess we'll see, if I'll be doing this again next year, I guess we'll see. And then now it's been like 5 years. This is what I do. We have a big team, and this is what we specialize in. And yeah, so that's kind of how I ended up in the crypto tax space. And now we have about 1,000 clients, and all we do is crypto taxes all day long.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Our stories are pretty close in that sense, getting into crypto early back in the day. And I was mining in 2013. And
I wish I was.
I made a little bit of Bitcoin, but I really wish that I had got into it even earlier than that. So I share that sentiment. And also, when I was first getting started in 2013 and 14, there was really no guidance out there about how to mine crypto, how to deal with wallets, how to verify software downloads. I mean, it was so overwhelming for me. And I remember thinking, if there was just one source I could go to that would give me an example, show me step by step so that I could see it, I could get that. And I didn't have that. And that's kind of why I started my channel in 2017, which is I'm going to show people step by step how to set up a wallet, how to transfer Bitcoin, all that stuff. So that's how I got started. So I'm going to ask you the simple ones. I'm going to throw you the slow balls. What makes crypto taxable, right? Because a lot of people buy Bitcoin and then they go, do I have to pay taxes if I buy Bitcoin? Do I have to pay taxes if I simply store it in my wallet?
Right. Yeah. So crypto is considered property by the IRS. And so there are 3 main taxable events that result in a capital gain or loss. So being that it's property, if it goes up or down in value, there is a capital gain or a capital loss associated with it. So the 3 taxable events are 1, just selling to USD, which I feel like is pretty easy for people to understand. Like if you buy Bitcoin at $1,000, it goes up to $4,000 and you sell it, you have a $3,000 gain. Pretty easy. People are like, okay, I had $1,000, now I have $4,000. Makes sense. So that one, easy to calculate, easy to understand. The second one is trading. When I first started this, people were like, are you kidding me? I feel like now people are kind of starting to understand a bit more, but it still sucks because if you buy $1,000 of Bitcoin, it goes up to 4,000 and then you go and use it to purchase ETH or you're swapping it for any other token. You have now $4,000 worth of that new coin, but you don't have like $4,000 in the bank. And so your Bitcoin went up in value and you have something worth higher value now, but you don't actually have the cash, but you have to still pay taxes on the extra 3,000. So you're going to have to report a $3,000 capital gain. You'll have to pay taxes on that. So you might have to like sell a portion of your new coin in order to cover the taxes, or like, you know, find some of your own cash to cover it. So that like definitely sucks. To have to pay taxes almost like in advance before you cash out, especially with crypto being so volatile, but that's just the way it is. So trading is the second one. And then the third one is spending. So this is like if you had like some of my clients will, for example, I accept crypto as payment. So people will pay me in crypto. So let's say I charge someone $2,000 to do their taxes and they were paying me with, again, let's say ETH that they had purchased for $1,500. Now it went up to $2,000 because they're using it to purchase a good or service. In this case, like a service doing their taxes for them, and it had gone up $500. They're going to have to report a $500 capital gain. So all of these examples are gains. It could obviously go the other way too, where if you might have purchased ETH, all of a sudden it's gone down in value, but you're like, well, I want to, you know, sell some of this or, you know, use some of this to pay for my taxes or whatever. You're buying pizza, you're buying whatever you're buying with crypto these days. You can buy a lot more these days with crypto, but every time you spend it, that's also a taxable event. And all of those are going to result in a capital gain or loss. So there's like the three things to keep in mind. And then there's also crypto can also result in income. So if you have interest payments, if you're doing mining, if you're doing staking, if you have node income, if you know someone uses crypto, again, if one of my clients pays me in crypto, that's income. Airdrops, forks, those are like kind of the main ones that it comes down to reporting income as well with crypto. So lots of things to keep on the horizon. You know, it's at least good to know about them so that before you go into them, you know, like, is this a taxable event? Am I going to have to report this on my tax return? Basically everything, yes, except for like transferring or buying crypto with fiat or loaning crypto. Those are all taxable.
And the government doesn't care about crypto. It only cares about the dollar value of every transaction, whether you're swapping crypto, you know, like a lot of people think, oh, like you mentioned, swapping Bitcoin for ETH. Well, I didn't sell it. I just swapped it for ETH. But as far as the government is concerned, that's a dollar value sale at the moment of the trade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're like, well, you're receiving something worth higher in value at that time. I mean, the flip side is, let's say you hold that ETH and then by the end of the year it's gone down in value. You could also sell that as a loss, and then your loss could offset your gain. But assuming ETH just stays higher, go higher, and you hold on to it, you're still going to have to pay tax on that initial trade. So
now you mentioned clunky APIs. It's very difficult for even a good API is a little hard for a newcomer or not a very tech savvy person to wrap their head around setting up an API on their exchange. And then I get a lot of comments about privacy. They'll say, oh, I don't want to like give the tax people my wallet address because that destroys my privacy. And my answer to that is, well, the government doesn't care about your privacy. They need to know where your wallets are, if you're transferring money or not. So what are your thoughts on the privacy issue around paying crypto taxes?
Yeah, so with like the privacy on sharing your wallets, so luckily on the tax return, you don't have to report like your wallet address. You don't have to report where you bought and sold crypto. You just have to report the gains and losses and like what token it was. But sometimes if my clients have like hundreds and hundreds of tokens, I just lump it all together and put cryptocurrency. Just as long as the gain or loss is correct, that's really all that they're concerned about, because it's not like they're matching it up to a 1099B in most cases, or like it's not like they have the exact records and they're like if you like sold stocks on Fidelity, for example, they would have the 1099B, you have the 1099B. They're making sure they match. But crypto is a self-reported asset as of right now. In most cases, there are a few exchanges that will issue 1099s, but it's not very common yet. And so if you like are reporting crypto on your tax return, basically the IRS is being like, great. It's like if I send the IRS $10,000 related to my cryptocurrency transactions, they're going to be like, great, this is $10,000 more than I was expecting to receive from you. I'll happily accept it. And so that's, in most cases, I haven't seen the IRS push back, or I have never seen an audit on somebody who's paid their taxes. Maybe if there's like a huge loss, you could maybe get some pushback, but especially when there's income or gains, it's fine. But that was a little spiel. So back to your question about privacy, you don't have to report your wallet addresses. So, but yes, I do need the wallet address if I'm going to do your taxes accurately in most cases, because let's say you purchase something on Coinbase, you transfer it to your ledger, and then let's say it's ETH, you transfer it to your ledger, it's there for a while, and then you're going to send it into like KuCoin, and then you're going to sell it there, for example. When it comes into KuCoin doesn't know what the cost basis was, like what you had purchased it for, and they don't know when you purchased it. They just see it coming in.
Right.
So they don't know if you bought it yesterday or 5 years ago or whatever. And so if you go in then and sell it on KuCoin without linking up like the Coinbase to the KuCoin transaction saying, this is the same ETH that came from here, you could end up with an error on your tax report if you put it into a crypto tax software, because it won't know what the cost basis was, or some of them will like make assumptions which won't be correct. Or you could end up with a $0 cost basis, which also isn't correct because it would cause you to pay more taxes than needed. So you just really need all those pieces to like show that there was a flow between the two. If someone's really concerned, I'm like, okay, just export a CSV and remove your wallet address. I just need to see the transfers or whatever and the dates that it happened on. But also, I'm like, I don't work for the IRS. I don't like paying my taxes. I'm not giving the IRS your information. And so it's just easier if you can give me your wallet address. I'll put it in for you, but I'm not reporting it to the IRS. I'm not giving to them. I'm not like matching it up to some database, giving them your name. Some of my clients don't even know their full name. Maybe they even go under an alias. They give me their first name. It's only if I'm actually filing their return that I need their name. So I guess that's to say about that.
Right.
With the APIs, I always request read-only APIs, so they don't allow me to like access your account, authorize trades on your behalf or anything. It's just read-only data. So it's nice because it provides real-time information. So if I have everything reconciled to date and you want to work with me again next year, I mean, most of my clients come back year to year. So if you want to work with me again next year, it'll pull through everything between the time when we last reconciled it till the next tax date. But again, if people are really concerned about the APIs, I'm willing to work with them. We can just do a CSV instead. But that just means each year you'll have to pull a new CSV and provide that to me. But the CSVs provide the same value. They're just not real-time updates like an API would be. So
Right.
I don't know. There's a few different options if you're worried about it, but just avoiding taxes because you're worried about it is probably not going to pay off.
Yeah, that's kind of my sentiment too. I mean, what's your alternative to not pay your taxes? And while we're on that subject, there are a couple of comments in the comment section that they think it's funny that people pay taxes on their crypto.
Yeah, there's
I
always
think
good
it's funny
factor.
that people think it's funny that someone would think that they can avoid taxes when they buy crypto and trade crypto. Have you seen any evidence of the IRS being aggressively analyzing any blockchain data? You mentioned that they were kind of passé about it. Oh, great, you're paying crypto taxes, but do you think that they will become more aggressive down the
I think they
road
will be, yeah.
and
I mean, they
analyze
would love to be
blockchain?
now, I'm sure. They just don't have the resources.
Right. I guess that's
Or the
one good
expertise.
thing for all the crypto tax dodgers, at least for now.
Yeah, I mean, they are gonna be requiring, they're hoping next year, but they're realizing they were hoping this year, but they're realizing how big of like an actual logistical nightmare it is to have these crypto exchanges report because there are all these transfers in and out, and it's hard to keep track of all that stuff, especially if it's like a foreign exchange or, it's an over-the-counter transaction or it's between, your own personal wallets and an exchange. So there's a lot of they're trying to like make more like 1099s available, like similar to like you would receive for a stock, but it is difficult since you can transfer between exchanges and wallets so easily. But they're hoping next year to start, requiring some sort of reporting, whether they do the proceeds column and leave the cost basis blank or whatever. But if they are going to be reporting next year, that means if you're on like an exchange based in the US, you're most likely going to receive a 1099 next year. If not next year, probably the year after. But as of right now, I have seen the IRS send out like tax notices for like people that say they're users on Coinbase. There was like a subpoena, a few years ago where the IRS requested all of their user data. And anyone who didn't report crypto on their tax return, they didn't like send them a notice saying, hey, you owe us $5,000. It was just like, hey, we know you have crypto and you didn't report it on your return. So like you need to report it. So that's mostly what they send out, basically just notices saying, we know you have crypto and you haven't reported it. But it's going to, it's probably going to get a little better year to year, but we'll see. I think they have big dreams and they haven't been in the weeds like I have. They don't realize how difficult it's going to actually be.
I was going to ask about missing transactions, and if the crypto user is transferring in and out of their wallet back and forth to Coinbase, are the 1099s that Coinbase issues always accurate?
So right now, Coinbase just issues 1099Ks. They don't issue 1099Bs or 1099 MISCs. So a 1099K just basically states to the IRS that you've had transactions in and out of this exchange where you've transferred like dollars in and out.
Okay.
So the number on a 1099K can like basically be disregarded. That doesn't represent your income. It doesn't represent your gains. It doesn't represent anything basically.
I see.
But that is another signal to the IRS that, hey, like you have crypto.
Okay. And then you also brought up a zero cost basis. And that means you're basically claiming you paid zero and you end up paying more taxes than you should. But is that kind of your safest bet if you are missing transactions and you can't do your detective work and figure out exactly like a broken wallet or a lost wallet or something like that? Is it just the safest bet to just go with a zero cost basis so you like are paying more than you should and less questions get asked?
I mean, it's like probably the safest, the most conservative, but it's not what I would like recommend if I was in your shoes. So if you do have like those missing transactions on a crypto report, then you need to do a reconciliation to figure out where the issue was. And so I guess I'll just throw in a plug real quick here. If you are wanting to reconcile your crypto transactions or you're having a lot of issues with your pulling your final report and the numbers look wonky, or you're just having troubles even doing those APIs, adding everything, I do have a course that teaches you like my entire process from beginning to end. So if you want to check that out, it's just cryptotaxgirl.com/learn, or it's just on my website. And I don't know if I mentioned it to you earlier, but I made a code just called CryptoDad. So not the CryptoDad, just CryptoDad, and it'll give you $150 off. So if anyone wants to check that out.
Oh, that's very sweet. Yeah, thank you.
But so if you don't do the reconciliation, it's hard to figure out where the issue was. But if you can figure out where the issue was, meaning that there was like a withdrawal that doesn't have a corresponding deposit or vice versa, that's usually how you can find issues. You could go back to like your emails on that date and see like, did you have an email from Coinbase that says like, we've initiated your withdrawal, or like we've initiated your trade? Then okay, that was probably on Coinbase. And then you might want to see, is all of my Coinbase data in there? If not, like maybe I'm missing Coinbase Pro data, or, there's something else that I'm missing here. Or if it's like a wallet that maybe you don't use anymore, but you used to, you can like use Etherscan to try and look for your old wallet address. And even if you don't use the actual wallet anymore, you can still use the wallet address to pull your transactions. But if it's like a wallet or exchange that's like shut down and you aren't able to access your records, or maybe you like got kicked off, I always try reaching out to customer support. Sometimes they'll give you the data that you need for tax purposes. But if not, then we kind of just have to piece together data a little bit. So like, let's say you see 2 Bitcoin go out, then there's a few months, and then you see 2 Bitcoin go in. Even if you're missing the exchange there, you're like, well, or the wallet, you're like, I can see it went out and then it came back in. So it must have been that missing exchange.
Right.
Or you can try and like, it's not the best because it might not stand in the case of an audit. But if you're like, I know I bought it sometime in May of 2020, for example, you could look up what the price of Bitcoin was in May 2020, put it in there. Again, these are all like, solutions. But if you really can't figure anything out, or you just want to be like the most conservative, it would be to just do a $0 cost basis on the buy side, or on the other side, if you have like tokens going out of your account and you're not sure where they went to, you could just treat them as sales, even if they might not have been sales. They
Oh,
might have
right.
been transfers, or you might have, given them to someone. But if you can't figure out where they ended up, you could just treat it as a spend because you're like, well, I don't have it anymore. So I must have spent it on something or traded it or sold it or something. But
I wanted to ask you, I get a lot of people that ask me about scams. In the crypto world, people are getting scammed. People are making mistakes and losing crypto. People might reveal their backup phrase, or they simply might lose their backup phrase and lose access to their wallet. Lots of things that could go wrong with crypto. How do you file or claim on your taxes if, one, you get scammed, or two, you make a mistake and lose your crypto? How would you deal with that as far as the IRS goes?
So it kind of depends on what happened. Because as of right now, after 2018, the IRS changed the tax law. So 2018 and going forward, you can't deduct any sort of like theft or like stolen assets on your tax return. Before that, you could, but at 2018 and after, you couldn't. So there are like a few options. None of them are like have a green stamp of approval from the IRS, but I have been doing them for some clients. So you can potentially take a worthless investment loss, meaning that like let's say I invested in some like I've seen some clients where they're like I invested in some ICO or whatever, like or some sort of crypto project or new token. And then they're like, oh, it'll be released. Then the token will be released in like 6 months or whatever. And then 6 months comes by and then a year and then another year. And it's just like, this is never going to happen. Like, or like all of a sudden then the Telegram shuts off. You never hear from the owners again. I've seen lots of that happening. And so when that happens, it's like, all right, you're never going to see this. Like this was lost. But you had sent them the money originally with the intent to invest it and like try and invest in this project. So if that's the case, at the time that it's determined that like this is going to be a loss, you can treat it as like a trade for $0, meaning that you can deduct the cost basis. So not the value at the time you sent it, not the value when you lost it, but whatever you originally paid for it. So that's like a potential option. But again, like a little bit of risk there. We don't know if the IRS agrees with that because usually that's reserved just for securities, and the IRS says that crypto's property. But in this way, it's kind of acting in a similar way. So I don't know. Like it's something that I have done for clients, and I always explain the risks, but we'll see if the IRS agrees.
From what I understand, the IRS could care less when you lose something. They only care when you make a profit. So
yeah, like they're not trying to like, cut you a break. Yeah.
Because
So
the losses only benefit you as far as trying to claim some kind of loss.
Right. Yeah. So if like, for example, like you just like you lost your seed phrase or you like can't access your crypto anymore, or you accidentally sent it to the wrong address, or like, yeah, you gave someone your seed phrase. It's like, this was not the intent to invest. It's just like, it was just stolen, or like there was like a theft or something here, or you lost it. You just have to treat it as lost, which means like that removes it from your holdings. And like in a FIFO pool, it removes that tax lot, but you're not going to get any sort of tax benefit from it, which sucks.
I do have a couple of specific questions I can see in the chat window.
All right, let's answer them.
Let's try. If you use average coin price as your cost basis, is the average only based on buys, or does the average change when you sell also?
Okay, so you're actually not allowed to use average coin price as a cost basis method, unless you're in Canada. That's what they use, ACP. But I'm based in the US. I know US crypto tax law. I just randomly had a few clients in Canada, which is why I know that. But if you're based in the US, you can't do that. So don't if you are based in the US. The default is FIFO, which is first in, first out. But if you want to use a different method, you can use something called specific identification, meaning that you can choose a different order to sell it in. So like LIFO, last in, first out, HIFO, highest in, first out. There's a bunch of different options. You can use the coin tracking software, the one that I use, the one that I cover in my course. It goes over a few different methods too, like optimized methods to try and reduce your capital gains and pay less tax. But all of those are based on like different lots. You're just like ordering the lots differently. And so that's a possible, but average just it like changes the lots because it's putting all of the cost basis into one pool, which you can't do. So just, yeah, don't do that one. If you have, you might need to amend.
Yeah. Marie N asked about coins in Celsius, but I think we covered that topic as far as trying to claim a loss with the IRS already.
I will add to that, meaning that like there's a lot of bankrupt exchanges lately. And so if you had, BlockFi, FTX, Celsius, all of Voyager, all of these ones, you could potentially just, if I were you, I would file an extension because we don't know what's going to happen with the IRS and they haven't said anything yet about these bankrupt exchanges. I don't know if they will. They might just be like you said, like, we don't care about your losses. We only care about your income. So we might never hear from them, but I'm hoping that we do. I mean, especially on something that's impacted so many people. And so filing an extension will give you till October 15th to file your tax return. And so hopefully by then we'll have some guidance. If not, I don't know if I would recommend taking a loss in 2022 just because most of these happened right at the end of 2022. And if you're going to take that like worthless investment loss that I mentioned earlier, the IRS says to take it like when, I can't remember the exact wording, but basically like there's no chance you're going to get it back. You've done all like the due diligence to try and get it. And it's like basically determined that you're not going to receive it anymore. And so that would only really happen if like maybe after the bankruptcy proceedings, which I mean, we've seen with Cryptopia and some of these other exchanges, like if it gets caught up in bankruptcy proceedings, you may never see it. Most likely you won't. But there is still a small chance you could receive some back, like Mt. Gox or something. And so if that's the case, I would just like wait it out, especially because most of my clients in 2022, they had a loss anyways. And you're only able to take $3,000 of capital losses per year. And so let's say you have $10,000 stuck in Celsius. If you took that loss of $10,000, but you had already had another loss of, over $3,000, that's just going to roll forward to future years anyways. You can't deduct any additional loss this year. So it would just require you to take a really aggressive position without impacting your tax return anyways. So I would just wait. And then maybe, next year, if this is still in bankruptcy or the year after, it's like, okay, it's been 2 years. I'm probably never going to see this. I'm going to take my loss now. Maybe the IRS will disagree with it, but I feel like I have like more of a basis of taking it being like, it's been 2 years. I still haven't seen it. So the worst case scenario, if you take a loss and then you end up getting it back, you'll have to include all of that as income. So just something to keep in mind. But
okay.
Yeah.
I have another one, FOMO Sapien. If you have, that's an interesting handle, FOMO Sapien. If you have all dollar cost average buys saved in a portfolio tracker like CoinGecko, can we make our own spreadsheet to report cost basis?
So again, you can't do dollar cost averaging as a method. Can we make our own spreadsheet? So no, unless CoinGecko allows you to switch it to FIFO. So probably not. I would probably stick with like a crypto tax software. Like, again, I use Cointracking. If you want to use that one, you can go to my website and there's like a discount code there. But but assuming we get rid of that first part of the question, the dollar cost averaging, like if you have all your transactions, can you make your own spreadsheet? Sure, as long as you're like confident and like you feel like the records that you're creating there would be, you'd be able to provide those to the IRS and show how you did your calculation. So if you're an Excel wizard, like, yeah, go for it.
Okay. I think you mentioned lumping some transactions on, but together. But Elia Williams is asking, if I have multiple wallets on the same exchange, can I lump all the transactions into one CSV file?
Multiple wallets on the same exchange, can I lump into a CSV file? So this, I think he's asking about importing it into a crypto tax software because you don't use CSV files for the tax return.
Okay, right.
But yes, usually, but so it depends because like some crypto tax softwares, they ask you like, what token are you importing now? And you like, if you click Bitcoin, but then you have all of your transactions in there, you have Bitcoin, ETH, everything else. then that'll not flow through correctly. But there are some like Ledger Live, for example, on Cointracking, you can just export everything as on one file and import it all as one file, and they're able to tell which, like, it's labeled in the CSV. So it depends.
Okay. James
Just
E
follow
has.
the instructions on like the coin tracking thing and don't try and get too fancy.
Yeah, I think a lot of exchanges will allow you to download CSVs
Yeah, exchanges and
rather
wallets.
than
Yeah.
APIs, I guess. But those are a bit complicated to deal with too, even on your end.
Yeah, I mean, if they're like on a main exchange or wallet, like most of the crypto tax softwares, like you don't have to reformat them yourself or anything. You can just upload the raw CSV and it'll format it for you. But if it's on like an obscure wallet or exchange, it does get a little trickier when it comes to formatting that data and uploading it correctly.
Okay, let's see. James E has a good one about DeFi. There are situations where you can be airdrop tokens that have not been launched on an exchange. So
Yeah.
there is no fair market value. How would you treat these, especially if you stake them? Because I know that Dan stakes a lot of kind of obscure coins on Osmosis,
Hmm.
and he's earning, but I
There's
guess
no market.
yeah,
Right.
there's no like sale price in dollars that they can refer back to.
So when it comes to income, the IRS says that you're supposed to include crypto as income when you have dominion and control over the coin so that you could sell, trade, spend, or otherwise dispose of it. That's like the exact wording when it comes to the income stuff. And so in these situations, it sounds like you would have dominion and control, like you're able to do whatever you want with them. You know, you have complete control over the coins, but so that you could sell, trade, spend, or otherwise dispose of it, it sounds like there isn't a market, like there isn't a way to sell, trade, or spend it. And so if that's the case, I would wait or just assign a $0 cost basis and then don't start including it as income until there is like a market for it and they're actually liquid. So I would probably just do a $0 cost basis for now. And then that way, let's say you eventually sell them and they become worth like $1 per coin and you have, I don't know, 10,000 of them and you sell all of them. It's still going to be the same regardless. Like you'll then have a $10,000 capital gain because your cost will be zero. Where if, let's say, along the way we were doing 10 cents of income each time and then they sold for $1, you know, and then you would have this $9,000 gain and $1,000 of income. In the end, you're still paying $10,000 either way. So it might be like accelerated or decelerated across years if this happens over more than one calendar year. But especially if it all happens in one calendar year, it doesn't matter if you do a zero cost basis or income either way.
Interesting. Let me see. I'm trying to get my face on this too. In DeFi, there are situations. Oh wait, I already read that one. If you have a sizable realized loss and file on return, is it likely you'll get on the audit list? Now you had mentioned that you can only file up to a $3,000 capital gains loss, and that's a little bit shocking. Does that mean then when rich guys lose millions of dollars, they can only claim a $3,000 loss on their tax returns?
So it's a $3,000 net loss. So let's say I have $100,000 in gains, but I have $150,000 of losses. Those would net together, but then I would still have $50,000 of losses left over. And I'd only be able to take 3,000, and then the additional 47,000 is going to roll forward to next year. But you can also, with those crypto gains and losses, you can offset them in the current year against other investment income or investment gains. So let's say you have like gains from stocks, securities, gold, real estate, any other type of investment gains, you can use your losses to offset. But let's say you didn't, you would have that $47,000 in this example that would roll forward to next year, meaning that your next $40,000 of gains in crypto or elsewhere are completely tax-free. So then if next year, let's say you have $20,000 of gains, that would be completely tax-free. You would still have 27,000 left over. You would take 3,000 again that year, and then you would have 24,000 roll forward to the next year. So it just keeps going forward year to year until the 3,000 gets used up year to year, or until it's completely offset by a gain. So I know that was kind of a lot of quick numbers. You might
Yeah,
come back
that's
and write them down.
really interesting.
But it keeps rolling forward until it gets used up.
Okay. But his main thrust there on that question was, do claiming large losses mean
trigger.
that the IRS is going to get suspicious?
I haven't
by practice or by default.
I mean, I've gone through like lots of periods. Like 2018, so many of my clients had losses. Everyone took them. It wasn't a problem.
Right.
Again, this year, a lot of people are taking losses. I'm
2022.
not seeing, I'm not seeing audits just specifically from a loss. The only time I've seen it is like once I had a client who had calculated their gains on their own, and they calculated like a $2 million capital gain. And then when I calculated it, it was like 1 point something million dollars of capital gain. So we amended it, and then which brought his gains down, which then means he was due, like it was like a $500,000 refund because he was basically at a 50% tax bracket at that point.
Oh, okay.
And so he was due a $500,000 refund. So the IRS pushed back a little bit, being like, okay, before we hand this guy $500,000, like, is this a legitimate calculation? And so I just like provided all the documents and it went through, but they just like, that was the only time I've really had the IRS push back on any return I've done. But,
let's see. Does she charge for consultation on average? What is the cost of just doing the crypto part of taxes?
Yes, so I do have consultations. They're 20 minutes long and they're $150. So if you just go to my website, CryptoTaxGirl.com, you can schedule them there. I think I am booked out up till April 15th, the next month for the deadline. So if you want to still do a consultation, just email me. I could do a priority run at a higher rate. So we'll figure something out. Or maybe just tell me you came from this podcast. We'll figure something out. And then for the cost of doing the part of crypto taxes, that's just hourly because everyone, there's such a range. Some people only have a few transactions. Some have hundreds and hundreds of thousands.
Right.
So I charge hourly and it's $500 an hour. Right now I'm booked out 2 months, unless you want to pay the priority rate of $750 an hour and get started right away. But if any of you are looking for help with crypto taxes, I do as much or as little as you need. So I can do the whole thing, or you can do most of it and I'll just review it. Or again, I can do your tax return. I cannot. Either way, but just shoot me an email. My email is laura@cryptotaxgirl.com.
Cool. Yeah. And if you'll send me, I'll put your email in the description of this video.
Okay.
So after the show, people can look down there and see it. It's not in there at the moment. But I did throw a link up to your Twitter, which I'm sure will lead them to all of that stuff too.
Yeah, Twitter is just where I tweet like free tax tips all year long, but you can link to my website and everything else there if you need.
Cool. It's cool. Can my losses go against my wife's income since we file jointly?
Yes, but only, again, it depends if you're speaking about her normal income. Like let's say she has a job and gets a W-2 and then you have crypto losses. Your crypto losses can only offset normal income up to $3,000. So if you had $20,000 of crypto losses, you'd only be able to take 3 against her income. But let's say she's also into crypto or stocks or has other like investment income. Yes, like if she had $100,000 of investment income, you had $50,000 of losses, those can net together and you would only pay $50,000 or you'd only report $50,000 of capital gains. So
interesting.
Yes, they can offset each other. But
Dan had mentioned this before, but not tonight. He's probably busy helping other people. But he mentioned that it is possible to gift your children crypto, and then there's like a set limit per year that you can gift out crypto. And what would that do? Could you call that a loss, or how would you calculate that in if you're offsetting that against your crypto profits?
Yeah, so gifting isn't taxable as long as you remain under the gift tax limit, which the gift tax limit is $17,000 this year. Last year it was $16,000 and the year before it was $15,000. So it's been going up a little recently, but $17,000 so at the time of the gift. So whether it's your kid or your friend or anyone, like if I wanted to gift you tomorrow or to my son, let's say $10,000 in crypto, it's not going to be taxable to me. He now owns $10,000 in crypto. He doesn't need to report it as income. You wouldn't need to report it on income either if I gave it to you. The only caveat is that you would inherit my cost basis and my holding period, meaning that if I'm gifting you Bitcoin that I had purchased for $10,000, that is now yours. It's as if you had basically purchased it for $10,000. So if you turn around tomorrow and sell it, you would have a gain because Bitcoin's at like 20,000 right now.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
if I had purchased it today and then gifted it to you and you sold it tomorrow, you wouldn't have any income or any gain to report. So
Okay, well, you told me you had to wrap up at 7. I'm keeping an eye on the clock for you. I wouldn't
Thank you.
mind talking to you longer, but I know you've got family and everything. So it's up to you if you're ready to wrap up.
yeah, sorry, gotta get the kids to bed, gotta
Oh,
feed
sure.
the baby. But it was so great chatting with you. And again, just as a reminder for anyone that wanted, just Laura at CryptoTaxGirl.com is my email. CryptoTaxGirl is my Twitter. My website is CryptoTaxGirl.com, all pretty easy to find me. And if you wanted to check out that course and get the discount for everyone listening to this, it's just CryptoTaxGirl.com/learn. And then the code is CryptoDad. And I'll give you
Interesting. Okay.
$150 off the course.
One more thing before we sign off is what is your bread and butter, the course or the tax preparation for you?
I mean,
What are
I
you
make the
enjoying
course
most?
and then so if people want to do their own crypto taxes or if the rates are too high, the course is a really good option for them, or if they're interested in learning. But after I make the course, it kind of runs on its own. And then
okay.
I spend 99% of my day doing other people's crypto taxes and their tax returns.
Okay.
So so like ours, I would say our bread and butter is like we're a very hands-on, white glove, like kind of crypto tax firm. We really prioritize like accuracy and high quality deliverables. And I've been in it long enough that nothing really surprises me anymore. I feel like if whatever your complex crypto tax situation is, we can handle it. And we'll make sure that you like aren't going to run into any issues. You're not going to have inaccurate reports. It's not going to stress you out and ruin your life for the next few months while we figure this out. Like we'll take care of the majority of it. So that's probably our main bread and butter. It's just like people that are stressed about their crypto taxes or they have a huge tax situation or they're worried about it. We'll take care of all of it for you.
That's really cool. It's good to know. It's good to know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. Sorry about the little technical issues, but I got through it, and maybe I'll have more confidence to do more interviews in the future.
Yeah, I know the virtual is a little more difficult, but I'm glad we're able to chat. And thanks to everyone who watched it tonight or is going to continue to watch it. Hope we can connect.
Oh, have a great night.
Okay, you too. I'll see ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ugh. All right. So, ooh, man. Can everybody still hear me? JDO, Mikey Lee, I made no money, so I will have to pay due to my dollar cost averaging last year. Were weekly and many different tokens, and then some staking. Sucks to make no money, then have to pay someone to figure 1,000. That the dollar cost averaging that a lot of people are doing when they buy crypto. If you're in the stream and you're not familiar with DCA, that means dollar cost averaging, which means that like for a set time frame, like weekly or monthly, you have have it automatically set up on an exchange to make a purchase for a regular amount, right? Let's say you have it set up to auto purchase $100 worth of Bitcoin every month, which is a great way to invest. But as Laura mentioned, you can't just average out the total cost of the Bitcoin over time, right? You have to include each transaction. And of course, the price of Bitcoin will be different on each one of your purchases because crypto is pretty volatile, right? So every month or every week, if you're doing it every week, you'll have a new calculation to report to the IRS. But as you know, I was interested when she mentioned that the IRS really is pretty laissez-faire as long as, I mean, you can prepare your own spreadsheet. You can do your own return and your own capital gains. And they're pretty happy to get what they get. So maybe you shouldn't stress out too much as long as you go through due diligence and make your best effort to accurately report all your gains. If you make a mistake, it probably will be under the radar, so to speak. She also mentioned that the IRS doesn't have the resources to follow up on everybody's crypto taxes by matching them up to the blockchain. So I think do your best effort and find someone that can help you. If you're a self-starter, you could go to any number of crypto tax software services where I've done videos in the past, like Cointracker, coinledger.com, and Koinly with a K. They're an Australian firm, but they do American taxes too. And then if you need more help, you could contact someone like Laura or Andrew Gordon, who I interviewed last month as well, to get those crypto taxes filed. Right? I would not recommend just thinking that because you're in the crypto world that paying taxes on your crypto is a joke. We had someone in here earlier that was laughing at us for even talking about paying taxes on crypto. I don't know that that's the best strategy to take. But, to each his own. And, I'm not your dad. I would like to know if the $17,000 for gifting is per parent or per child. I believed you could gift $34 per child if you were married. Oh, I didn't get a chance to ask her that, Dan. Sorry about that. I thought it was per child when the way she mentioned it, that you can gift up to 17,000. I thought it was per child, but I could be wrong. I don't know how many people, and she said you could gift anyone. So I don't know if that's going to help your taxes. Gift out all your crypto. I'll get in line. Yeah, so I appreciate you guys hanging in there with Laura. She was very knowledgeable, and I was glad that I was able to work out the kinks. I think the main thing was that she just needed me to have my mic on so that she could hear me, because I can't use this mic for doing the stream and the Google Hangout chat at the same time. So I needed a separate mic. But I was worried that hearing her on the speakers was going to cause some echo effect. But I think we were okay. If the echo is too bad, yeah, I mean, once I got the headphones on, I realized, oh, I'm the only one that can hear her. So another epic fail on my part, but I think we figured it out. Rex, did you know you're the best? Thank you for your time. Thank you, Joseph, as always. Let's see, what did we have on the agenda tonight? Oh, I did want to bring up that I did throw a video out this week, a standalone video, how to install multiple copies of Ledger Live on one computer. I get that question quite often. And basically, we've talked about this many times in the live stream. I put a link to that video down there in the chat window. You can't really install Ledger Live twice in the same copy of Windows unless you create separate Windows accounts. So I kind of walked you through that process of creating a separate Windows account, so that when you pull up your start screen and click here, you can see I've got a secondary account there, and I can switch accounts. And when you switch accounts, Ledger Live can be installed on that other account in a separate space, right? There's a separate preference file for Ledger Live when you're in a different Windows account. And so that allows you to, in effect, maintain a separate copy of Ledger Live for a second person, be it a brother or a sister, a sibling or a spouse that wants to keep their crypto in a separate space, or a roommate, right? That would be even more, a roommate, someone that's not family, they have their device, and for some bizarre reason, you're sharing a computer. I've had that question a lot, though. You can just switch over to a secondary Microsoft account and install standalone copy of Ledger Live that is not linked to the other Ledger Live in any way or form, right? Each maintains their own separate preference file. So all the wallets would be separate. And you can even put a password on the copies of Ledger Live so that neither party can view the other's crypto, right? 10K per person / child. Okay. Yeah. So let's see. So I put out that video. I invite you to check it out. Pretty decent video. Let's see what else we got here. Sharing Ledger Live. We talked about that. Now, you can also, within Ledger Live, if you've got two people and they each have their own device, they can use the same copy of Ledger Live. You would just use a different account for each Ledger device, right? So each Ledger device can create its own accounts. As long as neither of you knew each other's PINs, there would be no way to access or manage or withdraw any of the crypto belonging to the other person, because the other person's accounts are based on their device, and the device needs to be connected with the PIN entered in order to actually manage or move the crypto. And that works just fine. The only drawback to that is you see each other's balances in Ledger Live, and that might not be ideal for some people. Or for others, it might be perfectly fine. I know I have a friend that she has crypto, and her husband bought a Ledger, and he's got a Bitcoin wallet on that Ledger, and she's got it in her Ledger Live, so he can take a look at it when he needs to, and she can see it. It's not a big deal because they trust each other. So, and if you only have one device, you can even share separate Bitcoin accounts. If you don't mind that your crypto is accessible, even as long as whoever has the device, then you could just create separate Bitcoin accounts on the same device and keep your crypto kind of separated for your own sanity or whatever. You can say, well, that's Jimmy's Bitcoin. I won't touch that. But yeah, I mean, anyone who knows the PIN has access to the crypto. Right. She did mention that you can gift crypto to anyone. It doesn't have to be a child. I was just wondering if there's a limit on that. Could I gift 17 grand to 20 of my acquaintances to help with my taxes? I don't know. Yeah. So interesting distinction there that she brought up as far as if you have outright crypto losses. Let's say you've bought and sold crypto and you have a net loss of 10,000, then you can only claim up to 3,000 in capital gains losses on your tax return, and then the rest has to be carried over. But you can also offset gains and losses too. So and then it sounded like you could carry over losses to the next year to offset gains from those years. So if you had 10,000 and you had 1,300 or 13,000 in losses this year, and you can only claim 3 of it, that 10,000 in losses carries over to next year and can offset any gains you make next year. If you gain 10,000 in profit the following year, that's what she mentioned is basically it's tax free. Yeah. Oh, All right, so let's see what else we got going on tonight. I'm just gonna kind of take it easy here and let the questions come in. We talked about last week about maybe transferring some crypto. Let me check in my Coinbase account, see if I have any assets in there. I think I might. I may not. I was playing around with, no, I think I emptied them out. I was playing around back and forth with some assets this week. And I think I emptied them out. I had some in there last week, but I forgot to withdraw them for you guys. Yeah. All right, so we don't have anything in Coinbase to transfer, but we can do wallet-to-wallet transfers. Oh, by the way, guys, last week I was having some issues with Metamask trying to connect to a DeFi site. We were trying to connect, I was trying to connect my Polygon wallet to QuickSwap and was having some issues with it. And I finally figured out what the problem was. Of course, just like I said, I can't troubleshoot when I'm live, but right after the live stream, my head just cleared and I figured out what the problem was. The problem was that I had installed the Trust Wallet browser extension. And what was happening was, since I had the Trust Wallet Chrome extension, it was overriding my MetaMask connection. So when I was in, let me get logged into this here. When I went over to QuickSwap, I was trying to connect to my wallet. It kept saying wrong network. In fact, it's still doing it now. Oh, see, now it works, right? Because the MetaMask is it senses the MetaMask. What was happening once I had installed the Trust Wallet browser extension, that was sort of taking over. And what was happening was Trust Wallet was on the Ethereum network. And QuickSwap was saying, hey, you need to switch over to Polygon. And I kept trying to do it in MetaMask. It wasn't helping because QuickSwap was sensing Trust browser extension. And if I had gone to my Trust browser extension and maybe switched networks, that may have worked. I didn't know that the DeFi sites worked with the Trust Wallet extension, but I've noticed that in the past. Every now and then, the BINANCE wallet extension also wreaks havoc with your DeFi connections to MetaMask, right? So when your things get wonky, take a look. See, you'll notice I've got all kinds of wallets in my browser extensions. And some of them play well with each other, others don't. So I realized right after the live stream, oh man, it was that stupid Trust browser extension. I just went in and deleted the extension and boom, everything was back to normal the way it should be. 9 hours and I've still not received my US dollar coin or US dollar tether from Ledger Live. You transferred it from Ledger Live to Coinbase. Have you seen, Dan, have you seen it, has it sensed that it's on its way? See, because there's a couple things that'll happen when you transfer something to Coinbase. Especially, now some things like Solana and sometimes Ethereum will show up in Ledger Live right away, and they'll be available right away. Bitcoin might show up fairly soon, as far as Coinbase will give you an email that says, we just received some Bitcoin from you. But it might take almost a day or, could be longer. But, I've seen it take like up to 6 to 8 hours for it to actually be available to trade on Coinbase. And you can see that If you go to the wallet, I don't have a wallet. We'll use Chainlink as an example. If you go to the where it says primary balance, you'll see the transaction in the list, but it'll have like a little orange dot that says pending. So Dan, do you see your transfer pending on Coinbase after 9 hours? Oh, Binance US. Oh, from Ledger Live to Binance US. Okay. Binance US is pretty good sometimes, not so good other times. Binance Coin, BNB Coin, usually will show up pretty quick because I guess it's their blockchain or whatever. I don't know what their association with it is. They claim that it's independent, but I've noticed that BNB moves pretty quick back and forth between Binance and your wallet, or Binance US and your wallet. But yeah, and like a transfer of Bitcoin, or say your stable coin, to Binance US from your wallet could take a while for it to be available. Right now, you can also go into the wallet itself. Let's go over here to wallet. And if you click on an asset like Tether, you'll see like there's the deposit, which says successful. But before it says successful, it'll say pending or received or something like that. As long as you see that, you shouldn't worry too much. Although these days, with banks failing and US dollar coin losing its peg, I don't know what if we should. I guess you can worry about anything these days, right? The strange times this weekend. Why does Binance US this year not allow fiat tracking when using the API? So we have to manually get them from CSV file. I don't get it. Binance US is a separate company from Binance proper, but I'm not a genius, but it was very obvious to me that they use the same software. The interface is very similar. And I saw an article somewhere recently about, they're supposed to be separate entities, and it's been revealed that, they're using the same software. I'm like, I knew that. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. So, yeah, I mean, they are connected in lots of different ways. And why they don't include the cache in the APIs, I don't really know why that would be, and unless it serves some purpose regulatory-wise to protect them. I don't know, really. Maybe they keep the cache accounts kind of in a separate space for accounting purposes, to like shield them from regulatory scrutiny. I don't know why that is, but I think it's probably related to Binance in a way, that they're just kind of following the direction that they're getting from Binance. I'm sure that decisions made at Binance proper affect Binance US in many ways, even though they claim to be owned by a separate entity. I think that's just on paper more than anything, right? Yeah, I know it's a pain, right? Crypto taxes are a real pain. So, I mean, I think Laura found herself a nice niche. I spoke with Laura tonight, and then I did an interview with Andrew Gordon last month. Both of them are, have been involved in doing crypto tax returns for a while now. And it's luckily there are people like that out there, because 5 years ago, good luck finding any CPA that knew anything about crypto and was willing to actually do a return for you. you know. So with the adoption and maturity of the crypto space, we're seeing, capable professionals that are available to help us with stuff like this. It's not easy. Binance US showing US dollar coin USD at 96 now. Okay. Yeah, here it is right here. Let's see. What would that be here? Oh, those are my assets, right? Where do they do that? Okay, trade. Do they have just advanced trading? I don't use this much, right? Oh yeah, USDC. Huh? Oh, here. Okay. Whoops. Why can't I find this? This is like really frustrating. I don't know how to use this. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Oh, here we go. All right. Yeah. Okay. There you go. 96.73. Although that news story said, I wanted to go back, that it was down to 87, right? At one point yesterday. I missed it. I can't find it. Oh, 87. That it was 87 at one point yesterday. Dad, can you give us your price prediction for ETH in 2 years? I don't do price predictions. Thanks for watching, but I'm not an investment advisor, and I don't really. I'll talk about the markets and whatnot, but I don't do price predictions. Sorry about that. Dropped to 33 cents on Binance US. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, US dollar coin seemed to be coming to the forefront as being the new go-to stablecoin. People were starting to trust US dollar coin more than Tether. There have always been Tether bashers over the last, all the way till back into 2017, 2018. There were all these like stories, FOMO stories, FUD stories about how the crypto market was manipulated by Tether, and that Tether was this big conspiracy, and that Tether was going to crash, and that they were all, it was just. And there are people that are like almost, it's like a cult almost. The people that talk about Tether, about how it's one big Ponzi scheme or whatever. But Tether has held its own. But USDC was kind of coming to the forefront as being a more stable alternative to Tether. Because Tether is foreign owned and kind of shadowy. And US dollar coin was owned by Circle, same company. I believe Circle owns Coinbase too, right? So, and now here, confidence has been shaken in US dollar coin now. Stable coin. Yeah, it all started last year with UST. The Luna version of the Luna stable coin lost its peg, and it was pretty much due to large, deep-pocketed, shadowy figures that bought hundreds of millions of dollars worth of U.S. Tether, or not Tether, I'm sorry, I'm getting confused here. The Terra UST stablecoin, and then dumped it on the open market, which caused it to break its dollar peg ever so slightly. I believe it went down to say 98 cents or 96 cents. And within a few days, it had completely depegged and just crashed down to zero, and it drug Luna down with it. So maybe the same people are trying to depeg US dollar coin to crash USDC. I don't know. Although, I think the big boys have their own problems now. We've got the U.S. banking system, teetering on the verge of collapse with, a bank just failing. We have one bank failure of a big bank. It's kind of scary. I think the bankers are worried more about their own house than they are about U.S. dollar coin. But who knows, It seems that U.S. dollar coin is just getting drugged down along with Silicon Valley Bank. Right. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. I was just really nervous about the whole thing. I knew there was going to be technical issues, but I'm glad it worked out. I had her, I could hear her on the speakers. I don't know. I'm still not comfortable with trying to do interviews, and Joe Rogan does them all the time, but I can't figure out how to stream to you guys because I need a camera to stream, I need a mic to stream, and then when I do a chat with someone, I need to be able to hear them and see them, and they need to be able to hear me and see me. And I'm already using the camera for my OBS Studio stream. So I had to rig a second camera for her so that she could see me. And then I had to rig a secondary mic on my headphones so that she could hear me because she couldn't really hear me through this mic because the stream on her end was delayed, right? So I couldn't just talk to her through YouTube because that wasn't going to work out. So anyway, it worked out. So let's see. I didn't really have anything planned for tonight. I didn't line up any crypto transfers, unfortunately. But let's see. What were we doing last week? We were trying to do something with... let's just talk about Metamask a little bit and connecting it to a ledger device. I know we've been through this many times before, but if you have a ledger device and you've created some wallets on it and you want to manage those wallets within MetaMask, then you need to connect your device, enter your PIN, and you need to be in the Ethereum app. And this is kind of weird because even if you're managing a Polygon wallet on your device, you would use the Ethereum app in MetaMask, not the Polygon app, because there is a Polygon app, right? Also, there's an Avalanche app, but you don't use the Avalanche app when you're interfacing with MetaMask. MetaMask knows how to access the different networks from within the EVM, or the Ethereum Virtual Machine. So I know that's one thing that seems weird to me, that you always use the Ethereum app. But let's go ahead. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, okay. It is. Okay. Yeah, I'm just watching myself. And I'm not looking at the camera. Okay, there we go. Turn that off. There we go. Now I'm facing you guys a little better. These two cameras. So, and I'm always having trouble with this camera because it's a Razer camera. And every time I connect it, it wants to install the Razer software. And I don't like the Razer software because it always kind of runs in the background when I'm playing my games. It does weird stuff in the background, and maybe I could turn all that off, but I just don't. I install it. Like when I connect the webcam, it says, ooh, you need to install the Razor software. I'm like, no, I don't want to, and then I don't. And OBS Studio will still see the camera, but it's spotty. It goes in and out, and sometimes after a reboot, it doesn't see the camera anymore. I have to disconnect it, reconnect it to get it to work. Oh, the echo is really bad. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, see, that's the problem. That's what happens. What happens is every time the camera gets ganked up, I have to add it again as a brand new device. And every time I do that, OBS Studio pulls in the audio from that webcam so that when I switch over to this webcam, I get that crappy echo. Is it gone now? It should be gone now. I muted the video. Yeah, I muted the webcam mic. And it shouldn't do that. It should only be using one mic. I don't understand why it always wants to pull in the webcam mic, but hey, whatever. Oh, how long did that echo go on? For that reply you gave to one of the price predictions requests, love you for that. Waited 5 minutes to comment this. Subscribed you literally in 2 minutes of watching you. Need more people like you. Thank you. After tonight, I'm anti-crypto as leading cause of headaches with no cure. Alina is asking a question. I wanted to move AVAX from Coinbase to my Ledger. As you know, Ledger does not support AVAX per se, and I needed to create a third-party AVAX wallet. My problem is that I screwed up the transfer. So let's address Alina's question. I'm going to go over here she's talking about AVAX. So as I mentioned, then if we want to connect our Ledger device and access our AVAX and see it in Metamask, we're going to need to use the Ethereum app. So let's see here. Get this in here. And so we need to enter the Ethereum app. Now, I'll go ahead and just do this from scratch. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's expand it here. Let's just delete these. Whoops. Let's just delete these accounts real quick so you can see this from the get-go. Okay, pretend you didn't see that. All right, so I have AVAX, and you sent it to your Ledger, you said, and maybe you sent it in the wrong format, or you sent it as AVAX, and you're not sure if it ended up anywhere. Go ahead and connect your. Let's start on the Ethereum side, right? And so I know I moved some AVAX somewhere, and I'm pretty sure I sent it to my Ledger address, right? So let's connect our Ledger. We'll go down here to connect hardware wallet. Remember, I'm in the Ethereum app. I have the device connected. The PIN is entered, and I'm in the Ethereum app. I say that over and over again because I get so many people with the question I get this error message that it's not connected. And I'm like, it's because you are not in the Ethereum app. If you're not in the Ethereum app, it will not see your device at all, right? And you'll get all these browser messages telling you it can't connect, right? So please be in the Ethereum app when you do this. Connect hardware wallet, tell it you want Ledger, hit continue. There's the browser pairing with my device. All right, it sees my 2 Ethereum wallets, right? You can also add these empty ones if you want to work with them later, but I'll just add the 2 that have balances. We'll click unlock. All right, so now we have 2 Ethereum wallets that are reading from my device, right? The private keys for these wallets are on my device. If I want to move any of this crypto out, I will need to authorize on the device. It'll interface with Metamask, right? Metamask will wait for the authorization if I try to move or trade or whatever, right? Now, I put some AVAX on here. I transferred it into this Ethereum address, right? But I don't know where the AVAX is. So why don't we add the AVAX network? I already have it. So let's quickly delete it so I can show you this from scratch too. Oh, actually, I don't think I can, or can I? Yes, I can. Okay, good. All right, so we'll start from scratch, right? I want to add the AVAX network to my MetaMask so that I can see my AVAX balance on my device. So we go up here to the account icon. We go down here to connect hardware wallet. Whoop, sorry. Oops. We go down here to settings. I think you can do it from up here too. Yeah. So if you just pull down this menu and you don't have the network that you want, right? Just click add network. It'll take you to this page. Avalanche is already in their list of pre-done networks, so you don't have to do anything tricky, right? You just click add and it'll auto-fill all the network settings. You'll click approve. Then it'll ask you if you want to switch over to that network. And lo and behold, look, there's my AVAX that I transferred into my Ledger-based wallet. Alina may have withdrawn her AVAX on an alternate network, maybe as an ERC20 token, or maybe even as a Polygon token. I'm pretty sure you can do that on KuCoin. Here, I'm going to turn this camera off. Getting tired of holding the device up. Let's go over to KuCoin real quick. I've got Coinbase. I don't know. Did you buy it on Coinbase? Anyway, let's check. I think you receive AVAX, but that may not give us too much insight. Yeah, it doesn't look like they... Oh, okay. So they support AVAX C-Chain, which is the ERC... I'm sorry, it is the Ethereum-based AVAX, but it is also on its own chain, the EVM chain. That's the one that we're looking at over here in MetaMask, right? That is Avalanche C. It shows up in MetaMask if you have the right network configured. Now, there is a Avalanche X chain, which is, I guess, their native format, but it's not supported in MetaMask. So I don't know if you managed to send it to that. But as far as Coinbase is concerned, they only support AVAX C-Chain. But you might check KuCoin. Let's see what KuCoin has to say about this. Oh, hang on. Thank you for telling me about the echo. Dan, I appreciate it, as always. I'm going to do my two-factor for KuCoin here. Well, I'm going to have to wait now. I'm just going to check on KuCoin real quick about AVAX. Whoops. So if you want to withdraw AVAX, yeah, see, they give you the Avalanche chain, which is known as the Avalanche X chain, and then you've got the AVAX C chain. Now, if you withdrew on native Avalanche, there's also a way to find it, I think. I'm not sure. Hang on. Yeah, the capital gains are calculated differently or taxed differently if you've held them for longer than a year. I don't know what the rates are, but they are taxed less if you've held them for more than a year. That's the short answer to that question. I'm sorry you asked that when Laura was here, but I didn't tell her that question. But yeah, the capital gains taxes are higher if you take profits within a year. I forget what it is. Alina. Ledger and third-party wallet AVX problem. I did a transfer from Coinbase to this wallet and performed a C type instead of an A, which Ledger needs. Any ideas? The money is not in Ledger. From Coinbase to A. Well, let's take a look at A. You said something else down for. I used Coinbase, did a transfer, had all kinds of messages that said you were using C. Now I have dollars in this third-party wallet, not Ledger. Well, I think maybe you're talking about this wallet. Let's open a new tab here. Yeah, this Avalanche wallet. You actually, if you're going to use this wallet, you need to. Whoops, what's going on here? Okay, this wallet actually does use the AVAX app, and I'm not sure if I have it on here. Let me check. I think I see it there. Yeah. So in the Avalanche app, if we use this interface, right, and we connect it to our ledger, I don't know if I need to change the path. Right. Yeah, see, on the C chain of this wallet, that's on my ledger. That would be the same. That's not the same wallet I was showing you just a second ago. I was showing you this, what's called Ledger 1. There's like a small balance here. So I can see the AVAXC in Metamask. I can also see it over here, right? It's just a small, I don't see where it's at. Why won't this go away? I don't even see the C balance, but it's in there. Yeah, it's like 12 cents worth of AVAX C, I think. Right. So you can transfer it back to, it's there. I mean, it's not going anywhere. And you say you have dollars in this wallet. I mean, if you don't want those, if you don't want to store it in that wallet, if that you can't wrap your head around it being in this wallet or that wallet or wherever, not in Ledger Live, then Ledger Live doesn't support AVAX. So you either have to use a third-party wallet, or if that's too freaky for you, then move it back to the exchange, which you can do from this wallet, right? Just transfer it back to Coinbase, and so you can sleep better at night. Oh, I can see it in Coinbase now. I know it's safe, right? But if you put it in this wallet, or you can see it in MetaMask, it's there. It's not going anywhere. It's just not in Ledger Live, right? I know a lot of people get really upset when they don't see it in Ledger Live, and they think they don't have it because it's not in Ledger Live, or they feel uncomfortable because it's not in Ledger Live. It's on a third-party wallet, and somehow to them that third-party wallet doesn't seem real. It's like, why it's in this weird wallet, and how do I get to it or get access to it? I understand the sentiment. So is what I'm saying healthy? Yes, that's the wallet. Okay. So if it's still in C format, you can just go to send, right, and then switch here to C, right, and from here you send it back to Coinbase, right? So let's see here. Coinbase, AVAX. Receive AVAX. That's the receiving address of your Coinbase account, right? So you put your address here, and then you would click confirm here to send it back to Coinbase. If you like, but if you see it in this wallet, it's there. It's not going anywhere. It's up to you whether you want to leave it in there or not. It's safe. It's not going anywhere. But yeah, I mean, you won't see it in Ledger Live. I don't know if Ledger Live will ever support AVAX, but they did add support for Polygon in Ledger Live, right? So in Ledger Live, you can look at your Polygon-based wallets. They have a Polygon app, but it's the same chain. It's the same address that your Ethereum wallets are on, right? So if I do a receive, see, that's the same address as my Ethereum wallet that we were looking at a minute ago in MetaMask, right? This guy. So it's the same address. It's the same wallet. You're just looking at it in a different interface. So like I said, Ledger now supports Polygon, even though I can see, I always knew it was there over in MetaMask. I can see it in MetaMask. But some people want to see it in Ledger Live, or they don't think it's actually there. So I get that, right? Because you buy a Ledger, it comes with Ledger Live. It's their software. You should be able to view all of the assets that you have stored on the device in Ledger Live. I totally understand that. Unfortunately, that's not the reality. Ledger Live does not support every asset that you can store using a Ledger device. There's a lot of third-party wallets out there that you can use with your device. You can store your private keys safely and securely, and you can manage your crypto, but you can't do it in Ledger Live. Avalanche is one of those, right? Used to be Cardano was like that, but now they support Cardano. Used to be Matic and Polygon were like that, but now they support Polygon. So who knows? They might support AVAX natively at some point, right? So you'll be able to see that AVAX balance in your Ledger Live, but you can't now. Good, you can move it back to Coinbase. Oh, Alina, please, 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 please do a small test first before you try to move it all back to Coinbase, right? Do a small test transfer of like $10 worth of AVX, small amount. Make sure it gets into Coinbase. Once you've done that and you're confident that you've done everything correctly, then you can go ahead and move the rest. Don't try to move like 10 grand worth of AVAX on like first shot with an unfamiliar process, right? Always do a small test transaction first, so that you know it's going to show up where you expect it to show up. Mr. Miskey, Herring Dan, did you send the AVX wallet not connected to the Ledger Nano, then connect the Nano and transfer from the AVX not connected to Nano to the Nano AVX wallet? So maybe you have that. That you have that standalone wallet. Oh, I see what he's saying. I thought that you had set up that wallet originally using your Ledger, but yeah, it is possible to set up the Avalanche wallet as like a standalone wallet, like with a backup seed, just like with no Ledger. So yeah, if you've got it in that wallet with no Ledger, device attached, then it'd probably be best to move it back to Coinbase first. Or you could try the wallet-to-wallet thing that Mr. Miskey pointed out, but always make sure you do a small test first, right, just to make sure it gets there. But you could do that as well. It's a little more technically challenging. Yeah. Yeah, please. Move a little first. Yeah. I'll feel better. I'll sleep better knowing that you didn't move too much at the same time. You did a standalone. Okay. Yeah, you should be able to move it back. Yeah, that's the trick here, like this XC thing. That's kind of weird. But that's the trick, right? Just switch it to C, and then you'll have access to your C balance. And then you can move it from here. Wow. I'm sorry, my dad fell down and injured his knee today. My parents live in Texas, so my mom has been updating us on his situation. I guess it broke his knee or something, or fractured his kneecap. So, but he's fine. Just got out of surgery. They're going to keep him in the hospital. He'll go home on Monday, so everything's great. Get well soon, Dad. There you go. Switch to C, transfer back to Coinbase. $10. Cool. I'm glad I could be of help. Yeah, I don't know. I get a lot of... that was funny that there was somebody earlier that was laughing at us for talking about filing taxes on crypto. I don't know what that is, that thing people... I don't know, maybe back in 17 or 18... 2017, 2018, people thought that they could, like, crypto was separate and that the government didn't know about it, and why be an idiot and pay taxes on your crypto? I guess, I think even today, from talking to Laura, the government is kind of like, has a lot on their plate. The IRS is, doesn't have the resources to track down everybody's crypto. So you might get away with not paying taxes on your crypto, but why take that chance, right? When I spoke with Andrew Gordon last month, he told me that the IRS is becoming more aggressive as far as analyzing blockchain data. They can do that. They can also pay third parties to do that. Blockchain analysis is a big, sector now, right? There's a lot of firms that are involved in blockchain analysis. So it's, if someone, I guess if you don't claim any crypto at all, they may not know. But in order to do that, you have, every 1040 has that question, did you trade any crypto during this tax year? You could say yes, I did, and then not report any crypto, and that might raise a red flag. We don't know. Or you could say, no, I didn't do any crypto trading at all, lying on your tax form, and then Coinbase or Binance US or Kraken or somebody reports your account to the IRS. Maybe you don't have a Coinbase account. Maybe you don't have... Maybe you somehow you do all your trading DeFi or whatever. Maybe you're careful or whatever. But why take that chance of not paying taxes on your crypto, right? I don't know. I think maybe a lot of people that live in the cash-based world also, trying to avoid pay taxes by using cash. It's risky business in my book. I'm going to go back down. Thank you, everybody, for tipping me tonight. I appreciate it. Hebrian, Joseph, always good to have you here. And Celine, who threw me $5 earlier in the live stream. I appreciate that as well. And one other person, Emmanuel Adamasu, also tipped me tonight. I appreciate every expression of your support. A monetary expression of your support means a lot to me. So thank you very much again. Dan? Oh, okay. I saw emojis and I thought, oh my gosh, are things going haywire again? Even if you get away with cheating the system in 3 years, the IRS may be much better than today in tracking these past taxes up to 7 years. Bitcoin back up over 2060. Bitcoin's been up and down. We didn't even talk about the price of Bitcoin tonight. It did fall over the Silvergate thing, along with the stock market, and was down briefly under 20,000 and back over 20 most of the day, around 20,002, 20,003. And I saw it pop up to 20,004, and now Dan's saying that it's back above 600, 20,600. So that's good news. Yeah, I don't know how. Oh, I did want to give a quick, before we sign off, analysis of this whole situation. It's not going to do us much good because, in my view, it could go either way. But we had a bank fail on Friday. This is a chain reaction from the FTX collapse. The FTX collapse affected Silvergate Bank. Silvergate Bank went bankrupt. And this causes problems with their parent venture capital firm, Silicon Valley Bank, or whatever the heck they call it, SVB. They just failed, right? So we're seeing this ripple effect. It affected US dollar coin. So, and it's affecting the larger financial system. When banks fail, and you saw all those smaller companies that had deposits at that bank that are going to lose money, this could have a ripple effect, right? So we could see all chaos break loose on Monday, right? Or we could have the Fed intervene and finally admit that they've broken the system by raising interest rates, and say, look, we don't want banks to fail, we don't want companies to fail, we don't want everyone going bankrupt. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stop raising rates, right? Because that was what they were still saying last week. We don't think we can start lowering rates anytime soon. In the foreseeable future, all we see are we're going to raise rates more. Then we had all this chaos at the end of the week. We could see the Fed make a statement on Monday morning. We have decided to stop quantitative tightening, start doing QE again, quantitative easing, and we are freezing any more rate increases from today, right? Or they may even say, you know what, we're going to start lowering rates. Next month, we're going to lower the interest rate. And all hell could break loose to the upside on Monday. We don't know. So Monday could go either way, guys. So hang in there. Hang on to your hats and your Bitcoin and your Ethereum and your dollars and your stable coin or whatever. And just hope and pray for the best. We could see total chaos to the downside on Monday in the crypto market and in the stock market, or the Fed could make some kind of announcement and they're going to start printing money like it's going out of style again, and we could see like a blowout green day on Monday. We'll see. It'll be apparent Sunday night, I think, when the U.S. futures open on around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard on Sunday night. We're going to get some indication of what's going to happen. I'm sure there's always leaks and rumors that overnight about what's going to happen Monday morning. So that's watching Bitcoin, the crypto market over the Sunday night is a good indication of what's going to happen. 5 p.m. Thank you, Dan. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Sunday. Emergency Fed meeting Monday. Well, there we go. So I'm going to sign off, guys. I'm going to talk to my mom a bit. Everything's great with my dad, and we had a little. It was a little shaky there in the beginning, but we got on track with Laura, and I want to thank her once more for joining. I'm going to put her links down here in the description down below, so that if you want to get a consultation with her, if you want to take her class, if you want to just have her do your crypto part of your taxes, or you want to do most of your crypto taxes and then have her kind of figure out, take you over the goal line. She charges by the hour. So, right, if you want to do the bulk of it on your own and then have her, check it over and finish it up, then she seems like a good person to help you with your crypto situation. Anyway, once again, thanks everyone for watching the live stream. I was a little out of character tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will be back on next week. I've got this, not this. I got this thing going here. I don't know why this thing is not in chroma key mode, but it's like whatever. Oh, there's no background. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I will be back again 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week. Join me again for the live stream from Michigan, where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. Hope to see you there. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me and hope to see you again soon.